everybody. First off, we're sorry that we were a bit late, but my name is Sveinung. I'm working in the program department of Tromsø International Film Festival. And we're here today with the director of RICEBOY SLEEPS, Anthony Shim. Welcome. And also, as a surprise for the people who might be a little annoyed that we're late, now we have a special guest. So you have the. Can you just please tell me your name as you pronounce it rightly?
My name is Choi Seung-yoon, but you can call me Yoon.
Yeah, thank you. Because you are a big part of the RICEBOY Sleeps film, of course. You are playing the main character. But first, let's start with you, Anthony. I've been told that the film is partly based on your experience as growing up, and just tell us a bit about how the film came apart. And
It began simply with just the idea that I wanted to make a film that was about Korean immigrants, and I wanted the film to explore some of the challenges and concerns and thoughts and feelings that I had experienced and those around me growing up had experienced. And I at the time I had felt like I hadn't seen anything on whether it be a movie or whether it be a TV show that depicted the Korean immigrant experience in the manner and with the authenticity and the honesty that I felt it deserved. And this is no knock on anything that's been made in the past, but just for what I understood and what I had experienced, I couldn't relate to anything specifically. And I should preface that this also was at a time before films like Minari and Past Lives came out. And so I had this desire to want to make something like that, and so it started from my memories, my experiences, and started from a place of what I understood and knew so well, and kind of built on that. So I do say it's inspired by my experiences. This is by no means an autobiography. Like it is the seed of it is from me, but I built on it. I built the fictional story on top of that.
But you mentioned these other films, like the last couple of years we have had films like Past Lives, Return to Seoul, and other kind of festival favorites. Do you think it's been a more kind of broad attention to these kind of stories the last couple of years, or?
I don't think it's necessarily that there's more attention. I really do believe that I'm a part of a generation that grew up abroad, not in our original countries, and we are of the generation where we have the luxury and the opportunity to be able to pursue career paths such as filmmaking. Our generation, or our parents' generations, I think the majority of them just didn't have that luxury. A lot of immigrants who went abroad, whichever country it may be. I mean, it was just a tougher time. It was a more difficult life that they had, having to adjust living in a foreign country. And so, as a result of those, I think that generation, I just happen to be a part of this new generation that has the ability to do so. And I think all these filmmakers just kind of hit that age where we're like, oh, well, we can make these films. And also because the industry has changed, audiences' expectations and willingness to watch foreign films has changed. It's opened it up a lot more, and there's more opportunities and a more open-mindedness towards watching these types of films and stories.
The film has been in other festivals, of course, before it came here to TIFF in Tromsø. Has there been a great response on these kind of things from the audience that we really need that kind of story?
I mean, this film's been on the festival circuit for a year and a half now.
Yeah.
We first premiered in September 2022
Yeah.
at Toronto. And we were actually supposed to come here last year, and then just things didn't work out. But luckily, it all worked out, and we're able to be here now. But you know, it's been a long journey, and it's in that time, you know, there's been like past lives have come out since we first
Yeah,
premiered. You know, like
Yeah.
there's another film from Denmark that came out that has to do with the Korean Korean adoptee, which is a wonderful film as well. And so. I think even in the time that we're just, you know, having our place in the festival circuit, there's all these other ones coming in as well, which is a really exciting thing. And the responses have been, I think, so much greater than I expected. I had a feeling that there would be certain people that could connect to it and would be emotionally moved by it. But what's been really pleasantly surprising has been the non-Koreans who have responded to this story and to this film. Certain countries that have really supported and championed this film and have really taken to this movie. It's been very surprising. I think at the end of the day, you know, the mother-son storyline is that relationship is the heart of it,
Yeah.
and that is a relationship, and that is a story that I think, you know, just regardless of your ethnic background or your nationality, that's something you can connect to, and so I think that has transcended the nationality aspect of it or the language part of it, and yeah, it's been quite a remarkable couple of years sharing this film with just people around the world.
Yeah, yeah, I guess, and I think it's good for the film with all these other films that are kind of tapping into the same landscape, but still it's a unique film, and yeah, I agree. It's the mother and son storyline is in the heart of it. And did you collaborate on how it was going to? How the character was going to be in the film and with the storyline. How much did you?
Yeah, I auditioned for this film when I was in Korea. So just like I got a job almost 2 months ahead we go for shoot. So right after I got a job, we talk a lot about Soyeon character, and like we exchanged the Korean music in 70s and 80s, which Soyeon might listen to before she immigrated to Canada, and we talk about the culture a lot, what kind of culture she had experienced in Korea, and what kind of identity she had. So we talk about a lot, and we made a lot of conversation. But mostly, it's not like she's this kind of person or she's this kind of person. Our conversation was not like that, but more like we exchanged the music, or painting,
Yeah.
or art piece. So it's more poetic way. And then right after I got into Vancouver to prepare this film, we had almost a month of rehearsal process together with Son and the other cast as well. So we spent a month together in a studio. So we start from the very basic foundation, like acting coach,
Acting training.
yeah. So that's why everything that we showed in a film, everything just naturally we organically we made that relationship in the studio first.
Yeah, just for the audience who hasn't seen the film, it's taking place in the 90s, right? It's first, I think, 1990, and then 1999. Yeah. And yeah, I think it's a big theme in the film how the Korean traditions are, kind of, the main character really wants to have it in her life and for the son, and also with the food. The food is taking a lot of place. How did you work with that, with Korean food? That's, for me, it's I thought it was a central element in the film, actually.
I think food says so much about people, about their culture, about personality, about history. And food has always played such a pivotal role in my life. And my relationship to Korean food has also been quite unique in that as much as I love it, there was a period of time where I rejected it and I was ashamed of it. I was embarrassed and all these things.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to, I felt there was a lot that I could say through the presence of food and the specificity of the role that that food plays in this film, without having to talk about it and being able to convey and explore ideas that didn't know how to do through dialogue. And so food was a very, very important aspect of the story.
I think food can be a big symbol of culture. And I remember that we were talking about Korean food, and then I asked to Anthony, did you know that the family means in Korea? The family in Korea called 식구, which means people who gather and having food together. It means family in Korean. And he didn't know about it. So,
Which was just this one of those like really wonderful coincidences that I was like, of course, this is what this film is about. It's not about finding family that is your blood relative, but it's about finding your own family, and it's those who you want to share your life with, share your food with, and share your time with. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm on to something, and so we really leaned into that and allowing the actors, and it was important that the actors really understand that and have a relationship with the food, even in the performances.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a basis for so many scenes in the film, like the children that are kind of, ooh, what is this disgusting food in the beginning, and then it's the scenes with when they are sitting and eating in the house, and I mean, yeah, it's.
But on a set, he insists to actor to eat real, like
Okay.
eat real foods. That you don't pretend you're eating. You should eat food and you say your lines at the same time. So we had to eat a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's just one of my pet peeves when actors, try to eat pretty on
Yeah.
on screen. I go, nobody eats like that, and it's not the dialogue that's important. It's the eating, and it's it's the relationship and your experience of eating whatever it is that you're eating. That's the truth. That is the moment. That is what the scene's about. Not how pretty you look when you say the lines. That's secondary. And it's not because like our actors are particularly vain or self-conscious. It's just, I think it's just intuitively, nobody wants to show themselves eating for real in front of a camera. And so it was just that reminder, and
But Ethan, our son, he ate too much, so our props staff was suffering from like prepare their food.
Okay. Another thing I thought about when I saw the film was to create rooms that really feel like the 1990s. Could be difficult, but I think the home where it's many long takes actually. Kind of the camera is kind of circulating around. How do you work with a kind of space in regard for the camera to kind of explore the home of the little family, and Yeah, I mean the eating, but also just this is their home. It's where they are kind of building a relationship, the mother and the son. Um, could you tell us a bit just how you kind of worked with the, I don't know, production designer or anything who created this kind of home where so many important scenes are taking place?
Yeah, well, I mean, not only the important scenes, but the volume, the sheer number of minutes
Yeah,
that take place in that setting.
yeah,
Yeah, so knowing that such a big portion of the movie takes place in this one location, we knew the location had to be great, and it had to offer us just in a very practical, logistical sense. It had to offer us a variety of ways that we could shoot within that space,
Yeah.
so that we're not stuck just shooting the same direction, same shots over and over again. And it was so difficult, so much more difficult than we at first thought. Finding a house that was still authentic to the 90s,
exactly. Yeah,
because everyone's changed their. The first thing that a lot of people change is they upgrade their kitchens. So to find like the old, dishwasher and the sinks and those things were really difficult. But we came across this one house online just that was up for rent, and we said we'll rent it for a month, and we just took over this home, and it was perfect. And we walked in and we saw the terribly ugly mustard yellow carpet and the red carpet and the purple carpet and the wallpaper, and we just thought, this is so gross, but it's so perfect. And the house just had so much warmth and character. And then it was our amazing production designer and our art team that went in, and a lot of that stuff is actually my mom's stuff.
oh, okay.
So we just went to my mom's place. We just took all her stuff and just flooded this house.
Moving out.
Yeah, like all the kitchen stuff, all the dishes and everything. We used a lot of my mom's stuff just to create as much realism as possible. And then with the camera, we shot, the majority of the film was shot on, for those who aren't familiar, what's called a gimbal, and it's just this like big round. It looks kind of like a hula hoop. In the middle is where the camera is sort of hung in a way, and so the cameraman would move with this, and so while it has sort of like the feel of a handheld feel, there's less shaking, and it's not quite as smooth as, let's say, a Steadicam, and so we felt like this gave us this like really wonderful ghostly feel with the human touch, just a slight human touch. And the reason for wanting to shoot that way was my director of photography, Chris, and we had discussed at length about from whose perspective would this story be told from, and we came to this decision that we wanted to try and tell the story from the perspective of the deceased father in the story.
Okay.
It's not a spoiler. It opens the opening 10 seconds tells us part of it. So, the father's passed away, and so what if, we got to watch the story unfold from the eyes of someone who is no longer with us. And so that informed every creative decision we made, from the gimbal itself, the very limited amount of cutting within the scenes, the pace it moved in, and what it focused on, and then the house just played into that really beautifully, and we just really stuck to that and hoped it would all cut together in a way that it was coherent and watchable.
Yeah. Yeah, and then again, we will not spoil the film, of course, but you are going to, in the film, you are going to back to the roots at some point, going back to Korea. How was that? Did it take different kind of preparations, and did you work with the camera and the team in different terms when we came to Korea and started to make this kind of outdoor scenes in a different landscape and.
Well, I mean that location too. It was that town that we shot in. That actually is where my grandfather was born and raised, and to this day, that town, the citizens of that town are distant relatives of mine, and so that's a place that I'd known of my whole life, and the mountain that they climb up, and the final scene where it takes place. That's all like that's our families, and so that setting was a place I had in mind as I was writing, and so when we went to shoot, it was written into the script, and so we knew what the space meant to the story, but you know, and to me, and we just wanted, and it's so beautiful, and that space just offered up so much, and so because we had about a month in between shooting all the Canada stuff and the Korea stuff, so by that point, you know, our team, my director of photography and the actors, like we'd been living in this world for months now, that we were so familiar, and that we didn't really have to talk too much about it. We didn't have to, you know, fidget around and talk about this or that. It was just like we just kind of went by feeling. We just like, this feels right. And then a lot of times the DP would just, I wouldn't even tell him what it is that we're doing. I would just let him do his thing. I go, that's good.
Yeah.
And then the actors would act, and I go, that's good.
That's interesting because I think for the audience, you can really feel it when they are coming to Korea. It's like you breathe more with the characters.
Yeah.
It's like they're not in this small space anymore, in the house and in the school and in the working kind of environment. Now it's just like, you can really feed it with the characters.
Yeah.
But now they're in a different landscape. They are in touch with a part of themselves that there hasn't been before, and it's great. So.
Yeah, it was something that was something I had to remind myself and everyone of while we were shooting the Canada stuff, because we were just in this like small house for so long, and then it was either the house, or we'd be in another small house, or we'd be in a school classroom, and it's like, oh my God, like so much of this movie is just in these little rooms. And I tell people it's okay, because we have the best third act locations, which is so different, and it's going to pay off. And if we can just, you know, if we can get the audience just to live with us in these like really small cramped places for the first hour and, you know, whatever minutes, then the payoff will be that much more, you know, rewarding, and that setting, you can't fake that. You know, somebody asked me like, oh, couldn't you just shoot that like in the, you know, outskirts of Vancouver? And I said,
no.
Well, no, like you can't fake Korea in Vancouver, not especially not when it's like you're so dependent on the nature. It's like, you know, can you fake Norway or, you know, Tromsø in Australia? Maybe with a bunch of cotton, and it'll look terrible, but you know, it's not going to have the soul in it.
And luckily, the weather was our side, so actually we was delayed for some issue from camera. So we delayed about 20 days or 10 days, 10 days?
3 days.
3 days?
We delayed
I feel like 10 days.
We had to push the shoot back 3 days.
But for that 3 days, it kept raining. But after that 3 days passed, then every day was so perfectly clear and beautiful.
Yes, and as you mentioned, it's been some years now since the film was made, and you've been to a lot of festivals. Are you working on some new projects now?
I am. I can't just rely on this movie forever. No, I have been working on it, my next film. There's been a couple of scripts that I've been working on over the last couple of years, but there's one in particular which I can talk about now because it's public information. I'm adapting a book. It touches on some similar themes as RICEBOY SLEEPS, but it's a book that's about also inspired by real events that the writer experienced, and the story is about a Korean American Wall Street banker who returns to Korea as a part of a rescue team during the Asian financial crisis to help the Korean government recover its giant debts that it had at the time. And so that's what I'm actively working on at the moment, and hopefully it'll be finished sooner than later.
Yeah, hope so. Exciting. Well, anyway, thank you both for being here with your film and for this talk, and of course for the audience who hasn't seen the film yet, it's highly recommended to see RICEBOY Sleeps. Yeah, and hope everyone are having a great festival. And just in the last kind of seconds before we are turning off, what do you feel about Tromsø to be here?
It's the coldest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah,
I will admit that. That's the truth. It's so cold, but I love this. I love this little city. There's something so cozy and magical about it. And we've been talking so much about the city and just how there's a sense of community that is so hard to find nowadays in any city in the world. And so we've been enjoying the coffee shops and the restaurants in this neighborhood, and I've been eating a lot of reindeer. And
The first day I got into this city, I told to Mana, I said to Mana, like, I've already fell in love to this city. Yeah, how I love this Tromsø.
Okay. Okay, thank you again for being here, and hope you are enjoying Tromsø and the festival for all your stay. And watch RICEBOY Sleeps if you haven't. And thank you.
Thank you.